Eric, David, Sidney, welcome to the Game Informer Show, guys.
Howdy. Hi.
Yeah, welcome to the big show. Hey, congratulations on Fortnite. What a bizarre success story. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you. Thanks.
How does it feel inside of Epic these days? Are you guys just running around like you're on fire? Do you have giant monitors with graphs going up and up and up? What does it look like in there?
Well, there's a lot of excitement. I mean, certainly we didn't expect the game to be, we expected the game to be popular, but we didn't expect it to be this popular. So we're really pretty thrilled and humbled.
Yeah, I'd imagine. So you guys are fully revamping the map, or how exactly would you phrase it here?
I would phrase it as a really, really big refresh, really. Because I mean, like if you've seen the map in the past, you kind of have this big green field underneath you, and right off the bat, the first thing you're going to notice is that the entire map basically is dressed up in different biomes, so you have more color variation across the entire thing. We added new trees, new foliage, because we really wanted people to be better able to orient themselves in the entire space, right? And along with that as well, when we shipped the map in September, we were happy with what we had, but we knew that there were things we wanted to change about it. And some of those things, were just things we wanted to try, other things where people in the community were asking about. So because of the kind of like lack of density that we perceived on the western side of the map, that's what we focused on for really throwing on a ton of new points of interest and stuff like that. And Dave, do you want to talk about some of those points of interest?
Yeah, I'd say the major part of it is that we equalized the density across the map, and we also added some new points of interest with varying themes that were not present on the initial release. So we have a new city area with some vertical, tall vertical building gameplay. We have an underground mine, and so that sort of offers kind of like a claustrophobic, lots of opportunities for flanking and other things like that. And a few other pretty interesting areas, a junkyard area that allows players to sort of utilize some of the existing objects to get around and supplement it with buildings. So we wanted the new areas to have their own identity, but also, visually, but also have sort of unique gameplay coming to the space as well.
So when modifying the map itself, I mean, you guys have been working, obviously you know Unreal very well, and you've been working on Fortnite, I mean, since 2011, I guess. Are you guys just experts on modifying that terrain? How difficult or easy is it to kind of shape up and change the terrain?
Well, certainly we've got more tools than we had then to be able to build things faster, but we're constantly learning about what is the right fit for Battle Royale and Save the World as well. And so that means constantly sort of adjusting and making improvements to the environment and level content. One of the things that we had sort of talked about was that the map should really be a canvas for players to express their creativity. And so while we want, say, the city area to have vertical gameplay, we don't want to sort of dictate exactly how it should play. So it's always about trying to find the right balance between sort of hinting at how you could use the space, but not necessarily dictating how you should play in the space. And sometimes we go, too heavy-handed, and sometimes not heavy-handed enough, and we're constantly adjusting based on feedback.
Do you feel like this is the last big revamp of this map? Is it going to be in a spot that you guys are happy with overall?
I think we'll basically keep treating the map like we've treated it so far, which is, I mean, up until even this point, we've basically always done small adjustments to it. We've added a few small buildings here and there, removed some stuff, fixed stuff, and I think we're going to keep doing that in the near future. Just to, it's been organic so far, reacting to people playing and consuming the map, and we feel that that's a pretty good spot to be at. Like a lot of the stuff that we actually added specifically was asked about in the community, etc. So we like that relationship.
But I'd imagine everyone's daydreaming about, what if we made a completely new map? What would that look like? How much can we change it up, right?
Yeah, I mean, that conversation comes up, every now and then. And, right now, I guess the immediate focus is getting an update to the existing map because we just know there's so many improvements that we can do. But, I mean, do you want to touch on next map?
No, I mean, we're definitely open to the idea of doing more stuff in the future. We don't have any concrete plans really to talk about. But like you mentioned, I mean, there's no shortage of ideas to come up with for this. And, Fortnite as an IP allows for a lot of variety and a lot of just cool stuff. There's the ceiling is taller than, than it usually is for us on this. So it's really fun to just go crazy with a lot of things.
Do you guys want to talk about your history with the Battle Royale mode within Fortnite? And when did the Battle Royale mode specifically build up and kind of gain momentum within the studio?
Yeah, sure. So I can answer that. So obviously throughout the development of Fortnite, I think it's public knowledge that a number of different PvP modes have been explored throughout the development. And
I think we played some for the cover story, yeah.
Right. And so and for a number of different reasons, they didn't end up working out. The idea to start the Battle Royale mode of Fortnite was, that was late June, early July is really when we started. And so, I mean, if you think about the development time, we started development early July and we launched at the end of September. So, which is, if you compare that to the development of, many other large games, that's unheard of, right? And what we accomplished in such a short amount of time, we're incredibly proud of.
Was it like, which division of Epic headed that up? Was it just overall Fortnite development? Like, hey, this will be a fun experiment. Let's just see if we can do it. Kind of like a weird subset kind of skunkworks project within Epic?
So that was the Unreal Tournament team was basically brought on to help out. And they had been, dedicated primarily towards Unreal Tournament. And then when this opportunity came along, we adjusted a large amount of the team towards Fortnite Battle Royale.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. Like, to what extent is Epic kind of following the audience and seeing the numbers maybe on Battle Royale, I'd imagine, are quite a bit higher than the core Fortnite game? And do you kind of shift development priorities based on that?
Well, I mean, being a free product, right, that certainly has its advantages in terms of number of people who can play it. The Save the World team still has a very talented and focused development team, and they're continuing to work on the Save the World campaign.
Yeah,
I mean, the general thing was that we're treating this all as one big game.
Yeah.
So. Is it a goal? Do you guys have the mission statement up there of like, we want to convert players though? The goal is to have Battle Royale kind of be a training grounds and then eventually funnel people towards the Save the World mode?
I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I mean, by having both modes, right, there's a value for different types of players, right? Some people really like PvP. Some people really like the campaign. Some people like both. And I think it's in our advantage to have a game, Fortnite, that speaks to both types of players or all of those different types of players. And I think there's a lot of overlap there. So it's not that we're necessarily trying to get people into the game through Battle Royale and convert them to Save the World. I would say we're perfectly fine if players want to come in and play Battle Royale and only want to play Battle Royale. On the same side, if people want to come in to play Save the World and only play Save the World, that's fine too.
Yeah. And now, Eric, how long have you been at Epic?
5-6 months.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. And I just skimmed real quickly. You worked in Age of Empires Online before that?
Yes, sir.
That project was wildly underrated. That art style alone was so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, but for the old timers there, I'm curious. And no offense with the old timers, but I'm curious. How do you feel like Fortnite's development and kind of this radical approach and the Battle Royale success has kind of shifted Epic overall? How has it changed the overall tenor of the studio?
Oh, I mean, we sort of touched on it at the beginning, but just sort of the general excitement about just sort of how good of a fit it is for Fortnite and how fun the mode is. Just gets game developers in general, anyone attached to working on it, really excited to try to make it as good as it can possibly be. So I wouldn't say there's really much of a shift. Like, any of us are really just happy to work on something that is kind of building a lot of momentum in terms of it all just sometimes just falls into place. And that was sort of evident pretty early in the development, even last summer before we shipped. We did a couple play tests and we were like, this is pretty fun. And there was a lot of room for improvement, and we're constantly still looking at it that way. Lots we can do to add to it, but certainly seeing the prospect of being able to continue to build on something that you perceive as really fun is really exciting as a developer.
Yeah, I mean, Sidney, is it too early to come away to like have a takeaway lesson for all of Fortnite's development at this point? Like, is the lesson like never give up, iteration, more one-off experiments, be flexible? Like, what do you think is the main takeaway at this point from all of Fortnite's development?
I think the main takeaway in game dev usually is that when you're having fun building something yourself, then you hope people will have fun with it too. And right now is a really fun time to be working on the game. I actually worked on UT before this. I've never had worked on Fortnite before, actually, myself. I was in a bunch of different teams that, worked with Paragon before as well. So for me, it was just like jumping into Fortnite. All the stuff that was already there made it extremely easy to come up with, permutations of all that, because Fortnite has an awesome base. So it was really fun to just basically go in Windows Shop and make fun stuff with it. And the thing that's super satisfying right now is to actually be able to work on a game that people consume so quickly that we're putting stuff in, people are playing it, you get that instant gratification of people reacting to it, and you can go back and tweak it, and it's fun. Like, it's super fun to work on a live game like that where you're not waiting a year or two or whatever until somebody consumes it and is done with it, but we're kind of playing the game with everybody as we're building it, which is super awesome.
But the fact that you guys cranked out the Battle Royale mode in a couple months is so amazing. I mean, do you see yourselves trying more experiments in that vein with different PvP types?
I guess it's not off the table. One of the main things that we're using, what we call our LTMs or limited time modes, you'll see that we released a 50v50 about a month ago. And that was kind of one of our early twists on PvP, but it's all based on the same sort of foundation of Battle Royale. We have a lot of ideas of stuff that we can do with the limited time modes, and there's a lot more that we're going to try.
Right on. What's been the biggest F-yes moment so far in this game's development? What moment has really stood out to you guys where you get to high-five each other in the office? Is it seeing like a celebrity stream the game or tweet about it, or has there been one moment that's really stood out to you guys, just with the Battle Royale mode specifically, maybe?
I think for me, it's been watching some of the clips that you see online of people playing, like they're constantly sort of raising the ceiling for what we thought would be possible within the game with a sort of a high level of play.
Yeah, there was one clip, like Ninja versus Daquan was amazing. It's like this 2-minute fight. It might have even been longer, 2 or 3 minutes. And, they're healing, they're building, they're jumping all over the place, they're repositioning, and there's a real conversation that goes on during that combat. It's so cool.
Yeah. So it's got to be a constant thrill. You guys just have monitors up all the time with Twitch running?
Actually, yeah, there's one TV in the war room that basically has a streamer going at any time.
I think there's been a couple times where we were like slowing down our company internet because too many people were streaming too many.
Yeah, there's a company email of, hey, you guys can't all be streaming Twitch at the same time.
Awesome. Well, we're definitely looking forward to seeing what you guys have coming up on the pipeline, so definitely keep us in the loop. Thank you so much for watching this excerpt from the Game Informer Show podcast. You can subscribe to the audio version and listen to new episodes airing every Thursday. We cover big games on the horizon, games that we've just reviewed. We have long-form developer interviews, a lot of fun stuff, so check it out every Thursday.